For over a month now, I have been counting down the 8 best matches from my list in the career of Rey Mysterio, building to the finale here on Sound Off episode 619. I saved the final 2 matches for this episode, instead of doing just one, to try to make it a little less obvious what number 1 is. So we'll start with number 2. When the World Tag Team titles were made exclusive to Monday Night Raw, in 2002, Stephanie McMahon, who at the time was the general manager of SmackDown, announced a tournament to crown new WWE Tag Team Champions. Los Guerreros beat Mark Henry and Rikishi to advance. Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit, reluctant partners. They teamed up to beat John Cena and Billy Kidman. Reverend Devon and Farouk beat Billy and Chuck. And Edge teamed up with Rey Mysterio in the opening round to beat the team of, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but it's true, Brock Lesnar and Tajiri. Lesnar was the undisputed champion at the time, so he didn't really care. Edge and Mysterio, they advanced to beat Devon and Farouk to earn a spot in the finals against Angle and Benoit. And that match is number 2 in the countdown. Arguably WWE's match of the year in 2002 and one of the greatest tag team matches that I have ever seen. To crown new WWE Tag Team Champions, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit against Edge and Rey Mysterio from No Mercy 2002. This match and the Hell in a Cell match later that night between Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker were the highlights of an otherwise very forgettable No Mercy pay-per-view. Angle and Benoit were locked in a feud at the time. And Stephanie said, if you guys are not able to coexist, and if you get physical with each other, if you can't get along, I'm going to suspend you for a year without pay. She wanted them to work together to help make the tag team division, as she called it, more legitimate. So that was the story with them going into the show. Edge, at the time, was really coming into his own as a singles performer. He had a couple of really good pay-per-view matches earlier in the year against Kurt Angle, and I think some TV matches as well, including the Judgment Day match where he shaved Angle bald. Angle had a great no DQ match, or Edge did, I should say, not Angle, but Edge had a great no disqualification match on SmackDown in the weeks leading up to this against Eddie Guerrero. That was a very good match. I believe that might have been the match where Edge actually first suffered the neck injury that led to him getting spinal fusion before WrestleMania the following year, and that kept him out for over a year. So the timing for him was awful because he was just coming into his own. He was having some great matches as a single star, and then boom, his body fails him and he misses over a year. And in wrestling, that's a lifetime. That really is a lifetime. Ironically, when he came back, he became tag team champion with Chris Benoit, although it was on Raw and not SmackDown. And he was all jacked up, all muscled up. I think he may have even admitted since then that he was taking things he shouldn't have been taking. I mean, he looked just way more muscular than I've ever seen him at any other point in his career. But that was when he came back in 2004. Ray, at this time, was still relatively new to the company. He had only been on TV about 3 months by this point. He lost to Kurt in that great opener at SummerSlam, which opened this countdown, in fact. The striking thing about going back and watching this match is how intense it felt. They were really laying it in, Benoit and Angle in particular. This felt like a fight. This didn't feel like a performance. It felt like a fight. We got what I always refer to as the Angle kick out, where he waits about a second too long before getting the shoulder up. So much so to the point that the crowd actually boos when the referee has to hold up the count and they chant bullshit. That didn't happen here, but it was just a staple of Angle's matches. Maybe the worst one I could ever remember was his match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21, which was an outstanding match and probably one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. It's the match that Bobby Heenan said that was the greatest match he had ever seen. And in that match, after Shawn super kicks him, there's this great spot where Angle is yelling at him and just telling him, stay down. And Shawn just out of nowhere lays a super kick in, knocks him out. When he finally crawls over to go for the pin, Kurt just waits a second too long. And it just, it had to be done on purpose because he did it in almost every match. So this match was no different. We got the obligatory, what I call Angle kickout spot. Ray gave Angle a Rana off the top rope. Benoit then accidentally nailed Kurt with the diving headbutt. Edge went for the cover. We got an Angle kickout for a damn near fall. Benoit had Edge trapped in the crossface. Mysterio delivered a 619 to break it up. He nailed Benoit right in the face as he had Edge at this hold. That may have been the best 619 I've ever seen. Mysterio gets caught by an Angle slam. Kurt goes for the ankle lock to Edge. Edge kicks him off into the ropes. Angle bounces off the ropes. And Edge rolls him up inside cradle for a near fall. And the people were losing their minds. The fans were absolutely going out of their minds after that near fall. Edge hits a spear. Benoit breaks up the pin. Mysterio knocks Benoit out to the floor with a baseball slide. Kurt, with the ankle lock on Edge. Edge reverses into an ankle lock of his own. Kurt reverses back into the ankle lock. And finally, Edge taps out. Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit are your new WWE Tag Team Champions. I don't do star ratings. That's kind of just not my thing. But I'll make an exception here. This was a 5-star match. This was excellent. Edge and Mysterio, they did go on to win the tag team titles from Angle and Benoit a couple weeks later in a 2 out of 3 falls match on SmackDown. Then they dropped them at Survivor Series right after that to Eddie and Chavo.